Hello and welcome to another quick science revision video. Today we are looking at IB Biology topic 1.1, specifically focusing on stem cells. So a stem cell has the potential to differentiate into various types of cells. And what we're going to do as we go through the video is look at totipotent, pluripotent and applications of stem cells. So plant cells also contain stem cells, as shown from the video, and they tend to be under the name of what is called a meristem cell. So if you were to do a root tip squash investigation under a microscope, you would be able to see the stages of mitosis happening in root tips. And that is an example of how stem cells can be used in plants. Also, it's worth noting there as well that gardeners can take advantage of the type of stem cells when they propagate new plants. So to propagate effectively means to take a cutting off of one plant, put it into some plant hormone, some root hormones, and replant it, and then from one plant you can then derive multiple copies of that plant. So mainly in humans there are two types of stem cells. One come from embryos, that's why we call them embryonic stem cells, and the other one is known as an adult stem cell, which tend to be found in the bone marrow, the liver and your skin. So there are some ethical implications associated with stem cells. Obviously, there is the argument about when does an embryo become human, and is it right to have an abortion? Is it wrong? Is it living? When does it start living? Is it okay to have an abortion at 26 weeks? There's a massive argument that can be put forward for both sides, and it is worth also considering political implications as well. Countries like Ireland have just abolished the abortion law, and that's 2019, I believe. So there are changes that are happening all the time. To be more specific, when we talk about stem cells, we need to know about pluripotent stem cells. So as it's got a definition there, obtained from embryos, largely obtained from labs carrying IVF, IVF referring to in vitro fertilization, i.e. the process where eggs are extracted from a female's ovaries. They are then fertilized outside of the body, normally in an environment, a petri dish with a culture, so that they have food and an environment in which they can grow. And then if the desired characteristics and eggs do become fertilized, they can then be reimplanted and pregnancy can install. So a pluripotent stem cell originates as the inner mast cells within a blastocyst. These stem cells can become any tissue in the body, excluding a placenta. So what we're talking about is this. Okay, so if we have a totipotent, which is an immature or stem cell capable of giving rise to any type of cell to complete an embryo. So here we have an egg and a sperm. Fertilization will occur, which produces the morula, which then turns to a blastocyst. This blastocyst is what we can then use in order to create pluripotent stem cells. The pluripotent stem cells then can give rise to multipotent, which can then be put into the respective tissues. One way to think about it is pluripotent. I tend to think about plural, i.e. more than one cell can be created, as opposed to totipotent. In my brain, I think about the total cells, all of the cells that can be created from a totipotent stem cell. So in the 1980s, we do need to look at a little bit of history. Scientists found pluripotent cells in mice, and as you can see, they take the stem cells, they put them in a cultured environment in a petri dish, and then they are differentiated, as we looked at previously. They can then become nerve cells, blood cells, etc. So one of the good things, positive if you would like, of using stem cells are for various conditions, shall we say, such as the ones we have here: Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, diabetes, blood stem cells. All of these cells and diseases, in theory, can be treated and cured by using a totipotent stem cell. If you think that's right or wrong, that's totally your opinion, and that's absolutely fine. Please do bear in mind the ethical implications of that. I'd like you to know about Stargardt's disease. So it is an inherited disease, and if you go through the rest of the IB course, you will look at inherited characteristics and Punnett squares and dominant recessive alleles and how they are inherited. One of the conditions with the disease is that the gene for processing vitamin A is defective. It doesn't work quite so well. So vitamin A in everyday normal people, if you will, is really, really important for light sensitive cells in the retina to function properly, i.e. it allows you to see better. Failing to have this vitamin A processing gene, this disease, will ultimately result in blindness. So one of the ways in which we can treat this is with stem cells, which help to regenerate the photoreceptors in the retina. So if you're not sure on a photoreceptor, little tip: break down the word. Photo referring to light and receptor referring to receiving information. So a light receiver. And the final one is leukemia. If you're not aware, it's effectively a cancer of the white blood cells, which are produced in the bone marrow. It's a horrible condition, and there are some symptoms here, as you can see: fever, chills, fatigue, feeling tired, weakness, loss of appetite, weight loss, all sort of lead into each other. And again, one of the ways in which leukemia can be treated is with a pluripotent stem cell. This concludes our revision session on stem cells. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions regarding stem cells, please do leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Goodbye.